Tom Perez is chairman of the Democratic National Committee. Tom, welcome. Good to have you here tonight. So you heard the setup. The suggestion is that from your side that they have all this control, they ought to be able to keep it open. But we know that they need 60 votes in the Senate. They only have 51 Republicans in the Senate, so they can't do it without Democrats.
Well, I mean, this is unprecedented. There's never been a government shutdown when one party has controlled the White House, the Senate, and the House. They don't even
have to have 60 votes.
But they don't have 50 votes for the House bill in the Senate right now on the Republican side.
They're down 3 on
so
the
this 60
side.
and 50 is not relevant. And you know, the thing that is so frustrating to me is there was a bipartisan deal that the Senators Graham and Durbin had negotiated. And if you brought a clean DACA bill up in front of the House and in front of the Senate, it would pass comfortably because the overwhelming percentage of the American people support it.
But that's not what we're hearing. What we're hearing is that what happened on Thursday, that they had sort of the sketches of a deal between Graham and Durbin. But then when we just talked to Senator Cotton about this a little while ago, then when they all got back in the room, both sides sort of had gotten some heat from their base that they weren't getting enough. Senator Durbin was pushing for the temporary status of various countries to be reinstituted, and that backed everybody back into their corners. But the question is that this deal tonight has only a couple things in it. It funds the government, and it also allows for the Children's Health Program to go forward for 6 months. What don't you like in that deal?
Oh, we can't, as the Defense Department said today, we can't be governing by 1 week at a time. And when you look at all the other issues,
what don't you like in the deal that's on the table that the House passed?
We cannot. What I don't like is the fact that it doesn't deal with the issues of relief for people who are victims of hurricanes. It doesn't deal with the opioid epidemic. It doesn't deal with huge issues involving.
So it's not about DACA. It's about those other things.
Well, it's about DACA, and it's about many other things, and it's about the fact that.
But everyone's been told that it's about DACA, that they want DACA in, or that's it, no deal.
The DACA is a very important part of this, but the failure of the Republican White House, the Republican Senate, and the Republican House to fund the government when they have.
But they can fund the government. They've said we can fund the government, and we're going to do it with the Children's Health Program, and we're going to keep going.
You know what? And then in a week you have another impasse, and then a week later you have another impasse.
But it sounds to me like you guys are throwing more stuff in the pot. Now you're talking about opioid coverage. You're talking about parity, right? So you're saying if you're going to get the defense spending, we want more domestic spending. And I think that might have been what Senator Schumer did when he went into the White House today, because they said he started to throw in a lot of more issues.
That's been the Democrats' position throughout, because we care about making sure we address the opioid epidemic.
So there was no deal then between Graham and Durbin that was done and ready to go.
Well, I respect. Neither of us were in the room.
Because you're adding a lot of new elements into it.
Well, you know what? I mean, here's the bottom line.
Do you guys want a deal or not?
You know what? Well, I absolutely want a deal. But you know what? Last May, if you look on May 2nd on the president's Twitter account, he said a government shutdown would be a good thing. That's what President Trump said last year.
He's not saying that now, though.
Well, you know what? And he shouldn't have said that last year because it was reckless. And the problem is.
Why is it not reckless now? He's saying he doesn't want to shut down. Republicans say they don't want to shut down. And you're saying it would be reckless to have a shutdown.
No, I'm saying the ball is completely in the Republicans' court to avoid a shutdown.
Okay, so the House passed the bill, right? They passed this continuing resolution, including the CHIP program. The Senate has that bill. The White House says they'll sign that bill. But we can't get that bill through the Senate.
And it's completely within the Republican leadership's ability right now.
If they add opioid, tell me the other things you want to do.
To do their job is what I'm asking them to do. To make sure that the Dreamers are protected. To make sure that we're funding. It's about DACA and many other things. It's about the things that are basic to how we live in communities.
Let me ask you this, because there are a lot of federal workers, a lot of military folks who hear that and they say, so you're saying that we can't continue paying us, all those federal workers out there, because you want to hold the deal up in order to cover people who are here illegally.
No.
You're going to hold their paychecks hostage because you want to cover the DACA kids. I'm just asking, is that right or not?
You know, we want to make sure that we pass a budget that addresses all the functions and responsibilities of government, including making sure that we are providing adequate funding for opioid addiction, making sure that we provide adequate funding for people who are victims of hurricanes, making sure we pass funding for Dreamers. That's what we need to do.
Perez, thank you. I'm out of time. It's good to have you here tonight.
Take care.
Thank you, sir.